In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you one of my biggest limiting beliefs and how I overcame it so I could finally have happiness and success within my life and my business. Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel, and of course if you are new here, welcome. My name is Hearne and this channel is all about helping game-changing female entrepreneurs to build a business and life of their dreams. So today is going to be the most casual video that I have ever filmed. I tell you, it might be a little bit of a long one, so if you can go grab some sort of tea or coffee. I'm faking a coffee here because no one wants to see me just drinking a glass of water, but I'm slightly dehydrated, so I've got water. Grab your drink of choice. Because what I really wanted to do is just have a fully candid, authentic chat with you about something that pretty much has held me back in my entire business journey, that only say in the past 6 months or so I've really been able to work through overcoming, and it's helped me so much. And I think a lot of people are actually really scared to talk about their limitations and their fears because they feel like they have to keep up some sort of facade of being this, empowered, confident, strong woman. And I just really want to break that. I want to break the stigma that we have to be so on all of the time. I want to break the stigma that we can't talk about the things that are holding us back publicly. And, the fear that if we show any sign of weakness, that it's going to make people respect us less. It's not the case. Even though we are strong, empowered women, we don't have to be superwoman. We don't have to be robots. We can let our fears and our authentic sides of us show, and that's really what I wanted to do with this video today. So, fully casual chat. I'm going to talk through one of my biggest limiting beliefs, the story behind it and how I'm overcoming it or how I've overcome it. And in the hope that it will inspire you to dig deep into yourself and figure out those own limitations and feel comfortable sharing them to get the help that you need. So that's what's happening today. I hope that you really enjoy the video. If you do, if you want more of these kind of candid chats, then give the video a big thumbs up. And of course, if you are new around here, then why not consider subscribing? It is free, and I put out new videos all about business, mindset, and living a girl boss lifestyle every single Monday and Friday. So I guess I wanted to talk about the limitation, but I thought that I would give you a little bit of a backstory because I've only just recently figured out where this limitation came from. So the limitation itself is that I have a lot of trouble with validation. I've kind of spoken about this before, but I wanted to go deep into it today. So I have a lot of kind of mindset limitations and a lot of fears and imposter syndromes and doubts that come up due to the fact that I seek a lot of validation from the people around me. And as I started a career online, it has actually been quite detrimental considering that the platform to get that validation expanded so quickly. Now, the worst thing is this was all subconscious or unconscious for a while, and it was only when I really started doing proper mindset work that I was able to figure out exactly where this came from, so that then I could figure out exactly how to overcome it. The worst thing is like this limitation did not start from something bad that happened in my life. It actually, I think, started from quite a positive situation in my life, but then you get conditioned to certain things. So, I had the best childhood, and a part of that was I grew up with the most loving parents ever, especially my mum. My mum was just adorable. And for both my brother and I, she adored us and kissed the ground, praised the ground we walked on or whatever that was. But, from that, she had this natural urge to celebrate everything we did. And I mean absolutely everything we did, to the point that if you handed in a project at primary school, you'd come home to banners and parties and things like that. She went overboard to the 10th degree every single time. And, I grew up with this. I grew up with insane amounts of love, celebrations, admiration for anything that I did, good or bad. And I was never kind of really told off or anything. And of course, my mum did this because she loved me, she wanted to praise me. And I will say that made me the confident person I am today. I don't think I would be where I was in terms of being so confident to put myself out there and thinking that I can kind of do anything if it wasn't for that. So the good comes with the bad. But it also kind of made me have really high expectations for praise, admiration, and acceptance that I would get from everyone around me. It kind of started becoming obvious to me that this wasn't the way, and the struggle started happening when I was in primary school. In primary school, I was like I would say the popular group, but I would say that I was like the least popular person in the popular group, if that makes sense. Like, I know it sounds ridiculous, especially when you're like 6 years old, but politics starts early. Being that I thought that I was, should be praised, that I should kind of be center of attention, there was a lot of resistance there. It's like, why isn't everyone, paying attention to just me? Like, why don't I get that kind of admiration, support, and everything that I have grown up with? And this is all subconscious, you don't think about this when you're 6 years old, but in hindsight now you realize where these patterns start. And that continued on throughout high school, throughout when I started going out to nightclubs and things like that. I became what I would call now a little bit of a try-hard, because I would go out of my way to do things to kind of seek that attention from everyone around me, because I got it from my mum at such a young age so intensely that when you're in this big group of people, you're like, not necessarily I want everyone to focus on me, but I feel like everyone has to be really kind to me and really adoring of me, or I kind of get suspicious that maybe they don't like me, and that started to freak me out. So these patterns, happened throughout my entire life. It didn't, necessarily cause anything dramatically bad to happen to me, but it did cause a lot of internal pain and a lot of paranoia that because, people weren't showing this extreme love towards me, that I always used to think maybe they just don't like me. And a lot of the time it made me feel like I wasn't fitting in, which made me feel like I didn't have a place, and it made me really feel like there was something wrong with me. Like, I doubted myself a lot. In certain situations, like I couldn't just go out with someone else's group of friends and just feel comfortable in myself, because there was always that awkward feeling like, why don't people like me? And again, this is all subconscious. I only recognize these patterns now as an adult, working through these. This obviously went on until, I started my YouTube channel, and the same thing, but on a grander scale. Like, I would put out videos and get a really great response, and I would feed off that praise and that admiration, and then when it went away, from it not being a good video, or the algorithm, or any of the 1,000 variables that, can happen on social media, that validation and not having it made me feel really bad. I'm accustomed to a certain level of connection, if you'd say, and that just wasn't there sometimes. It wasn't until I really, really, really started doing self-development work that I realized how much this was actually affecting me. And this is where I urge you to really get to know yourself and to really figure out, take the time to figure out, I don't want to say what's wrong with you, but what's driving you, what those underlying needs of yours are, and then you can find out whether they're actually empowering you to take positive action or whether they're kind of detrimental to your journey. Figure out what those needs are. I figured out that I had this real need for, connection. I've got other needs as well. I'm huge on variety and things like that. But this need for connection, admiration, praise, and all of that, I could see was driving me in a negative way. So I started doing a lot of self-development work. I started really figuring this out. I started diving deep into myself. I started having conversations with my mom. And of course, you cannot blame her, because as if you would, she was a beautiful woman praising her child and celebrating, them as a human being. And again, as I said, I wouldn't be as confident, as happy and all of this if it wasn't for that as well. So I do weigh the positives up with the negatives. But and I guess through all of it, through the self-development work, recognizing that these were patterns that were kind of subconsciously driving me to feel certain ways in certain situations, I had to really look at, okay, so I'm craving what? I'm craving love, I'm craving connection in, validation, likes, follows, social media, relationships, and all these things. And I had to really sit there and think, what is going to fill that hole in the most empowering way? And all signs, all roads, when I really thought about it, when I dug deep into this limitation of mine and how to overcome it, all signs led to self-love. The only way for me to really overcome this was to fully do all the things that I needed from these other people as a teenager, in primary school, online, and all of this stuff. The only way that I was going to be able to overcome this was if I could do all of that for myself. So I started, and I'm still on. I won't say that I don't have days where I go back into feeling those ways, but I started this journey of being able to validate myself, knowing just the things that I create, even if they got 0 likes, I was proud of them, or the courses that I create, the programs that I create, the things that I talk about online, being just happy with it in myself and knowing that if it got no recognition from anyone, that it didn't matter. And it was really hard to get here. As I said, I won't say that there aren't days that I fall back into, putting something out and being like, oh, this sucks, everybody hates me. I want to lay in my bed, close the blinds. My mind still does flick back, and don't ever hate on yourself if you have those as well when you're on this journey to overcoming your limitations. But I'm so proud of myself in the fact that I recognized what was making me feel bad, and I took the necessary action to move forward, because I promise you, it has opened so many doors for me in the fact that I can create more effortlessly, I can create more passionately, and I can just build relationships more authentically as just being myself, with no kind of agenda or with no paranoia about what the response is going to be. That counts with my audience, with the people that I network with online, and with the people in my life. If you're confident in yourself, everything else just fits better. So, that is just, I'm not saying that that's the only limitation that I have. There's definitely other things that, I dealt with, but I could say that was probably the biggest one that was the hardest for me to overcome and took the most effort, but has yielded the biggest reward. Harvey agrees. So I really wanted to have this kind of candid conversation with you, and the purpose being is because lately I've been having so many conversations with different women who are just afraid to admit the things that they feel like they need to overcome. And if you subconsciously feel like, this might be driving me this way, or I feel this, but you're suppressing it down, it's only going to bubble up, and it's only going to manifest itself in such a worse way. You need to deal with the things that need dealing with to be able to move forward more happily and just live a more confident and happy life. I know I just said happy 10 times, but that is the point of life at the end of the day, is just to be happy. And if something's not making you happy, then work on it. I beg of you. It doesn't matter how it sounds. Share it with people. Get the help you need. Having conversations with people about this allowed me to work through it a lot quicker. I talk to George about it all the time, my parents, my networks and things like that. And being able to externalize it has helped me so much, be able to work through it. So don't keep it to yourself. Don't be afraid that letting your walls down means that you're going to get attacked, because at the end of the day, by letting your walls down, you can actually let more magic in. It's not always going to be a negative situation. So I empower you. If you've watched this, if you'd stayed to the end, I know this is a freaking long video, but if you've stayed to the end and you're a YouTube creator or any type of creator, I would love if you created a video like this. I don't know, maybe we could start a tag called my biggest limitation, or hashtag my biggest limitation. I don't know, it's up to you, but just know that you're not alone. You don't have to keep it in, and you are not weak for having limitations and fears. You are just a human being. So thank you so much for hanging out with me. Thank you for listening to my story. I hope that me sharing with this, it took me a lot of courage to share this, I promise you, because it did make me feel weak, but that's the whole point. I want to show you that it's not weak to show your fears or to show your true colors, or whatever you want to say. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. I really, really appreciate it. I'm so grateful for you all, and I will see you in the next video. In today's video, I'm going to be talking you through my biggest limiting belief and how I overcame it to finally have the success and the happiness that I want in my business and in my life. And that was way too corny. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you my biggest limiting belief and how I overcame it to finally have happiness. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you one of my